Okay, so let's proceed ahead with the group discussion, and I have already sent you the topic. The topic for the discussion we are going for is the learning from COVID. So as we see that now globally COVID is coming down in many of the countries, it is not existing as of now. In some of the countries it is coming back. So the 2 years of COVID, many people have learned a lot of things in this. So this particular topic is related to our learning which we had in COVID. So this group discussion has 3 components, as you know. The moment I'll give you a topic, one of you will introduce that topic to the group, and after that, in fact, today I will give you can, any one of you can start the discussion, and then you will participate in that discussion for some 10 to 15 minutes. After that, I will give chance to each one of you to conclude the discussion. Please maintain the decorum in the discussion, give your points, listen to the point of others, and accordingly you participate in that. So the topic for discussion is learning from that is the COVID-19 or coronavirus epidemic which we had. I'll give you 2 minutes to think over it, and then we can start it. So just 2 minutes, jot down your points, and then we start it. Okay, so I think we can start it now. Please go ahead.
Hi
Good
friends,
morning,
I'm
friends.
Good evening, friends. My name is Rohit Bhagdi. I'm glad that I get the opportunity to start the group discussion.
The
Friends,
topic
today
under
our topic
discussion
is
today is
learning
the
from the
learning from
COVID-19
COVID.
threat.
This
This is very
from
interesting,
the
friends.
current existing scenario. So it has varied points to discuss. So I open the discussion for you all. There are wide points in the healthcare system, in self-reliancy and in hygiene. So we can discuss a lot on it. I open the discussion for you all.
So friend, I think
friends,
we can
I
discuss
went to
this
one
topic
point
on the
that
perspective of like individual level what we have learned, and the local level what we have learned, and the government level what government have learned after the COVID situation over, and the what organization have learned. So we can discuss in these points also.
friends, I want to add that we learned COVID-19 the better way of living life, and also the health infrastructure. We can learn that how important health infrastructure
I
for
agree
us.
with my friend Rohit here. Like, as we have learned on the individual level, like importance of social life. That's
Yes.
what we have learned during, how important it is to live that social life and socially connected with people. As we are locked down in our homes, so that social life and that what we were missing out till now, that we learned that COVID taught us the importance of that part.
Yeah. Like
And I also add the
COVID
point
taught us
that
the social
time
distancing,
spending with
maintain
the family is
social
important,
distancing.
and we
And I want to let me give you example. Like if you take example of Japan, first we are not using face masks, but now it become habit. In Japan first we are doing handshake, but in Japan they are from like they are not doing handshake anyone. So
I
this
would
is how
like to
we are.
add a
Yeah,
point
I
here,
agree that
Sudeep, that regarding Japan has always been using masks since before, and now as
Yes.
India has also experienced the same thing, I really think that we Indians also will be using masks in regular purposes.
The one point I would like to add is that post-pandemic, what got us out our houses was the faith in the vaccines which people put in it, and the very efficient work which was done by scientists and engineers, that we have successfully cut red tapeism, and the amount of cold logistics that we have developed over time, because India is not known to be a warehouse country. There
Yes,
is still
friend, I
a vast
agree
amount
with you
of
on
loans
that
to
point.
warehouse,
But also, I
because
would like to not only we have come up with the vaccine, we have also realized where we are lacking a stronger healthcare system, self-reliancy in so all the sectors, not few, but all
mainly
the
the
sectors.
access to
And
all the
healthcare
sector like
has been a waking point uh, which should be taken up in the
I
future, so that people have better healthcare access over time.
and
Exactly,
I
Yes,
also
right.
want
yes,
to add
sir.
one point
I
that
want to give one
innovation in the
example like
due to the
if we talk
COVID-19 also increased. The many way of innovations like education and in many sectors innovation come very fast due
Yes,
to
I
the
agree with.
COVID-19.
Yes, I
want
agree
to
with
give
Exactly,
one
all
innovations
of
example
you
come
here.
very
Yes,
fast.
and
And
has
in
been
Correct.
proved,
that
because
we
we are
now
having
we
interview
got
on Zoom, and one of
yeah,
the biggest factors which came through during the COVID-19 pandemic was the amount of remote work that we have been able to develop over time, and the amount of the remote work that people have in IT sector have been able to do efficiently over time.
yes, I agree with my friend here. Like we have also learned how hygiene play an important role in our life, and hygiene with the normal workout that we should do, that we should go follow normal food that we should consume for boosting our immune system. We have also developed that immune activities that we should do.
Yes, friends, and one more
in the
thing, because
pandemic
of the
we
cut in the imports and
realize the
exports, we
importance
also
of
realized that we should become self-sufficient in terms of food, in terms of robust technologies, in terms of everything. We learned that we should be self-reliant, and government also has amended its acts accordingly. Atmanirbhar Bharat, it has introduced in the due to COVID only, I feel, and.
Yes.
Not only that, so many laws has been they have introduced in terms of healthcare system.
Friends,
Yeah.
I would
Yes,
also like
yes, I
to add
agree.
one
I
more
agree with
point.
Lakshmi, and I want to add the because of the COVID-19, the many cities are population decrease because work from home is come, and the working time they can spend with their family.
Okay, and I would
Yes,
also like to add one more
Population
point that
didn't decrease; it has increased. I would like to say.
That actually
In the
has to
cities,
be done because
I
the
want to say
2021 the
Yeah.
decennial
Urbanization,
population
yeah.
census has been
Population density has
increased.
decreased to some extent.
Yes.
friends, I would
but the
like to
upcoming
make one more
population will
point,
get
which
increased like as we know in COVID scenario like the marriage are the married couple are staying together only, so due to it like the population after the post COVID pandemic will be got increased only.
yes,
सुदीप,
I agree.
मेरा
My,
पॉइंट ये है कि जैसे सिटी में एक्चुअली में जो लोग रहते थे वो एक्चुअली वर्क फ्रॉम होम कर सकते हैं, तो इस वजह से
They
पॉपुलेशन
have
डिक्रीज
moved
हुई
to
मेरा,
villages.
दैट
Correct
इज माय
point.
पॉइंट
बाद में
एक्चुअली.
तो इंक्रीज होगी ना लेकिन
yes, I agree with all of you. And
He
what we have
meant
also learned that
I felt that
organizations.
he meant about pollution and population
yeah
density and the
Yes.
effects related to that.
friends, I
Yes,
also
on
wanted
the
to put
One
organization
more
level,
point
what we have learned. Yes,
that I
please.
would like to add is the affordable housing that we have been trying to provide for the quite some time now. For every person who needs a house, we give them a house. But affordable housing in the cities have been a major point, which because we have seen Dharavi, and Dharavi reclamation project has been going on since years. But right now there are projects which can provide
Mhm.
affordable housing to people in the big cities. The number one reason for that is that businesses are not currently renting out big the large
for
office
big
spaces for
office
their
spaces.
personnel.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
that
I
is my
agree. And
point on
also,
on the population on the cities
We
actually.
from the topic, it is not much related to the topic, I feel.
Friends,
yeah
I
we
would
have to
also like
like
to
we have to
add that.
discuss on that topic
Uh,
only.
okay,
yes,
so
yes,
I
I
would
want to
also
add a
Have
like
point
you
to
discussed
here.
add.
on topic
Like we have learned that we need a regulating bodies that will control like important drugs that should be not supplied outside, that should be
Yes,
regulated,
that is a
because
very good point.
black marketing was seen during the COVID time. Like important drugs were
Yes,
restricted,
for
like
remdesivir.
Yes,
the
friend, I would
Yes,
remdesivir
yes.
like to
virus. So
add one more
like
thing
there should be
here.
regulatory body.
We learned the importance of restricting the nations, how much they are like going we learned the importance of restricting it nationally so that a disease it won't become a pandemic.
Yes.
But I would like to add one more
Yeah,
point, Chaitanya,
I want
that
to add one thing,
after
like for
can
for
okay.
example, like if we in COVID scenario we realize, हम लोगों ने ऐसा realize किया कि पब्लिक सेक्टर कितना वैल्यू है. लाइक जब कोविड सिनारियो तो हॉस्पिटल का एग्जांपल लेंगे तो हॉस्पिटल में मतलब जो गरीब लोग हैं वो तो इलाज करा नहीं पाएंगे, तो गरीब वो लोग मतलब हॉस्पिटल गए तो तब वैल्यू समझ. प्राइवेट में we cannot afford it. So and if you talk about the railway, like they are providing free for in COVID
Free
scenario.
transport
people
Yes,
for
I agree.
for migrant
जाने के
people.
लिए free
The
में,
point
तो
raised by
तब
my
हम
friend,
realize किए हम कि
the point
government
raised by
का
my
role
friend
बहुत
here,
जरूरी है.
the point raised by my friend is very important, that the importance of public sector that played a huge role during this COVID pandemic. Like they also provided funds, they also provided through various CSR programs to the community. Like they never stopped
Yeah.
their whole service. Like they regularly
The funds
provided the
were provided
petroleum. So
not only for the service in the
Yeah, they
industry,
or
for
if it
service in
ventilator
India,
they
but
have provided.
also to get our people from outside India into India, because the vast amount of people, like currently, for example, that the Russian-Ukraine war. So we are sending planes there to get our people back. Same happened during COVID when we sent our planes to get people back to India safely and securely through proper channels and through proper verification that whether they don't have COVID or not. So that was all
Or
taken care of
also, I want to
by the
add
public
one point.
sector.
People are also strong mindset in during the COVID, because they saw the difficult times, and we learned that the difficult time make person more better.
Yes, friend, I also want to add
Yes,
one point
in
here.
this,
Every individual, they have become they became aware of the importance of the emergency fund, which they should keep personally. That not only as a government, it has reserves for the emergency situation. Individual also has learned that we should have some funds in case of emergencies like
I
these.
yeah,
agree
I
to
like
Adding,
Chaitanya. I
adding,
agree to
we have learned
Chaitanya,
how
and
to
I would like to add this one more point, that
how
as
to
a whole
survive with
country,
limited resources.
Friend
uh,
Muskan is trying to add some point. Let
yes,
us
yes.
give a chance.
Actually, okay, I'm Shreya, and I just wanted to add
Sorry,
this
friend.
one more point, that as a whole, India, COVID pandemic has provided India in a global situation. Like it has helped so many countries, that even the relationship of India has also improved with so many countries. And some of the institutes of India, like Serum Institute and Bharat Biotech, has given a good position in all over
Recognition.
country
Yes,
worldwide.
yes,
Yes,
yes.
like as
Yes,
raised by the emergency fund point, I would like to add to that point, like in need of health insurance is also
Correct.
increased. Like we need to
yeah.
invest in health insurance and different kind of policy to be prepared for that time. And
The
after and due to this,
subscription rate for health policies has increased.
yes,
And
and
due
also
to this, also in between the family members, the importance of being aware of what our financial investments are, where we are having our money, so that in case of any emergency of the main head of the family, these people can act accordingly and they can attend the situation very means
One more point
aptly.
I would like to discuss, actually, which didn't come up yet, was that we are social animals. So the amount
Yes,
of
yes,
communication we have with the
agree.
outside world has decreased during pandemic.
No,
Now the
actually,
amount
the
of health
positive.
for mental are for, because we are communicating through screens, right? So the mental pressure and the mental depression which many people came across during these times is also a significant change. Now how
Yeah.
we can improve over it in the future is that we can provide access to multiple peoples for healthcare, for psychoanalysis, for projects like these, which there can be a substantial amount of help from experts for people, because
But it
this
has
is one
some.
factor which we
And
cannot
friend,
turn our
one more
blind
We
eye.
thing,
Yeah, I
the
want
understand the
to add
mental
importance
to
of
this,
health
like
importance.
unity among the human beings is also
Exactly,
has
right.
come out, where
let
one
me add
person
one
is
thing, like
suffering, everyone has contributed through Google Pay, Phone Pay, like lakhs of amounts they have
And
contributed.
it
Such
has
a
also it has also showed us that we can live without going out, without eating junk food for a much longer durations, like
yes.
for a year at
yeah,
least. So it has positive impacts as well.
Yes, और एक और चीज हुई है, like there has been boost in the digitalization of the Indian economy.
Yes, sir.
Like
This is the
there is
important
telemedicine has come into picture. Like they are treating the people sitting in Ladakh from the Delhi, and tele education has come in the picture. Then digital payment has come in the
Yes.
picture, and these kind of
Education
thing
has
has
also
come due to
initially
this pandemic only. We have
Right.
boosted highly.
Education has
And
also
also
been
the
digitalized.
environment. Friends, I want to add the environment is very important. Environment is very better due to the COVID-19.
And it
Yes,
has
because
And
of
become
many
COVID-19, we
air
came to know
pollution,
how
sound
much
pollution
pollution
overcome
can be
very.
reduced, how much every pollution can be reduced if we decrease our use of
due to
vehicles.
basically due to COVID pandemic, our life slowed down and we were able to appreciate little moments in our life.
Yes.
This thing like in this during COVID scenario that we have been locked, तो उसकी वजह से मतलब बहुत अपॉर्चुनिटी आई है, जैसे कोई लोग स्टॉप है तो कभी वो मूवी देखने नहीं जा पाए थे, वो मोस्टली ट्रिप लोग ट्रिप पर नहीं जा पा रहे हैं, तो एक प्रकार से टूरिज्म में बूस्ट आया है कोविड के बाद. We can say.
And one more thing, the importance of
sector.
gig economy has increased a lot. Nowadays, people are not going for conventional working and they are preferring this gig economy, gig working style.
And according to stats, actually farming has also, like, people have came back from US and other countries and they have devoted their time at homes, at villages, and they have been from like country delight, and there are so many apps which got boost due to educated people came back to India and they made that farming field into a much growing economy.
They are providing a more feasible
Like if I
solution
take
for our
example
farming
of Byju's, like during
through organic
COVID
farming and other
lockdown, they got a boost in their profit. Like if
And
in
also,
COVID,
also they understand the importance of spending time with family.
Yes,
And the
and
companies also understood that people can work from their homes and they do not need anybody on their head all the time to work. So they have also appreciated the integrity of their employees.
And in addition to that, what we have also learned, like we need to invest more in our healthcare system. Like PSC should be developed more, as we have seen PSCs are not that much developed, and the resilience of the doctors team and the ASA worker that we see, like how much supportive they are and how much we should educate them. And the nation, the doctors were deciding in the Delhi that it was reaching to the village level. So we have learned like we need to invest something more of our GDP percentage to the public health
I give one example, like पहले क्या होता था, जब हम लोग किसी गांव में रहे तो वहां पर हॉस्पिटल आसपास होता ही नहीं था, तो हम लोग को दूर जाना पड़ता था. तो हम लोगों को इन कोविड सिचुएशन वी रियलाइज कि इन एवरी विलेज देयर शुड बी वन हॉस्पिटल, सो दैट कहीं वैक्सीन लगवाने जाना है तो हम वहां पे वैक्सीन लगवाने जा सकें. तो एंड
one more point I would like to add is that the amount that we all at some point there was a huge demand for medical oxygen in our country.
Yes.
In all the cities.
Yes.
Now at that critical moment, a large number of plants, like for example IOCL, came forward because they are able to produce nitrogen.
They also produce
also, and I want to
and
add
also so many construction companies came up and they have contributed their best to provide
the point
hospitals
is that
in a
the
much less
hospitals
time.
right now have been provided with medical oxygen storage facilities.
And
that
I also
if you
add
see
one
any
point के
hospitals
लोग
now, they
अपनी लाइफ
have
में इतने बिजी हो
medical
चुके थे कि वे
storage,
सोशल
for their
सोसाइटीज
oxygen.
की वैल्यू ही नहीं समझते थे. तो अब ड्यू टू द कोविड-19 people understand the importance of social societies.
Yes.
But on the other hand, because COVID it was very contagious, and from that reason the society has also like created a barrier among the people who were having COVID, and there were very negative cases of also that people
it is not human, but it is necessary for to prevent itself the COVID from spreading.
That I agree, but the situation was so worse that we have seen several examples that people have died and there is nobody helping them to take the body to the
it is most
cremation.
pathetic situation.
I want to add one more point that it makes us united to face the problem. Whole country become united and face the problem
Yeah,
Did
there are
understand?
cases where people helped a lot through digital payments. They have helped so many people to admit in the hospital, get the treatment. There are two sides of the coin.
Right, right.
Yes, yes, like helping as we are talking about helping, like all of our all of the Indian citizens have contributed to the PM Care Fund so that it can reach to the mass of
Yes.
the citizens. So we are developing that helping nature. That there is helping nature in the Indian public.
Actually,
And
if we relate the COVID pandemic to our personal lives also, no, then we can understand that there will be a time which will be bad, but as
And-
time passes by, it will be fine. One day it is going to be fine.
and increase what we have also learned, like there should be a resilient supply chain that should be there towards the industries, like what was happening, like some industries were getting shut down due to restriction in the manpower uses, and that was creating the economy was going down at that period, and it was the challenge that we were facing, and the Indian government followed some rules and regulation to improve that part by allowing some kind of manpower and restricting another manpower. So these were the things that we learned during that time.
Yeah, they
Friends,
actually
also
developed a cyclic
unnecessary expense people
proposition to
reduce
that.
because of the COVID-19.
Yeah, unaccess.
Yes,
Like
yes, yes.
we have learned
How to
to
utilize
we have
resources at optimum level. We optimize our resources at optimum level, and it also reduces the crimes in this country, because all are facing the problems to crime
Yeah.
rates are
As
contributing.
students
yeah, and
ourselves,
we
we
when
also
we can
learned
say like we
the
have
ways
learned
where
how
we
to
can
survive
learn
with limited
through
resource.
digital media. We have explored so many options in the digital phase where we can where we have come across so many platforms through which we can learn betterly.
So many coachings have also been online, and that
Yeah,
has been a great help to the people who are living in villages or tier 3 cities. They have been helpful for
Yes,
that.
in this
And-
point, I would like
and
to
friends,
add
मैं
one more
add करना
thing. We
चाहूंगा कि
understood the
donation
importance
अगर
of
कोई परेशान
digitalization because so many people have suffered on the other hand also. So we have understood how to make the digitalization reach to that point
To
of
that
the
point,
country.
right.
Yes,
And
so
And,
we
after
have
COVID
an
and
aspiration to
people
donation
follow.
become
programs
comfortable
also
with the
increase. If
online
anyone in
education.
problem,
That
people
we
can
have an
donation.
aspiration to follow, that everyone has access to all the things we have said during this discussion, is that all the things, like for example Chaitanya said about the access to digital
Aman,
education
are you
and
concluding, Aman?
telemedication.
Aman, are you concluding?
No sir.
Okay, so let's conclude now. I'll
So
give
should
chance
I?
to each one of you. I'll come to each one of you and then we conclude. So let's start with Nikhil. Nikhil, please conclude the entire discussion.
Okay, thank you, friends, for giving me this opportunity to conclude this group discussion that we had. So I think every one of us raised very important points regarding the topic. Firstly, what we did, divided the entire discussion into the what has been learning in the individual level, on the organization level, on the national level, and what has been benefited environment, how environment has been benefited. So on the individual level, we talked about like how important is social life and societies are, and how what is the importance of hygiene activities, mask, and the already our Indian culture and healthy food. So that and also we learned about the emergency fund as well, health is importance of emergency fund and health insurance scheme, and unnecessary expense should be reduced. And on the organization level, what we discussed were like public sector played a very important role, like oxygen and medical equipment were produced by them at that critical time. And digitalization of organization also happened during that time, like telemedicine, tele-education, digital payment were reduced. Also on the national level, what we learned are like relationship with other nations improved because we provided them vaccine, we provided them medical equipment during that time, we provided important drugs during that time. And also on the national level, we learned that we should become self-reliant, and Atmanirbhar Bharat should be there, and PM Care Fund should be there. And on the national level, we also learned that there should be a regulatory body that should restrict the black marketing of important drugs and important equipments, and investment in. And another thing, like important investment in healthcare is necessary and should be increased. And on the environment, environment is getting replenished, and hybrid environment, hybrid working environment is also coming in the picture. So these were some of the points that we discussed during this group discussion. Thank you.
Okay, Chaitanya Lakshmi.
Thank you, sir. I would like to take the opportunity to conclude the discussion. The discussion has gone into so many important points. It has we have understood the importance of stronger healthcare system, and we also felt that self-reliancy in all the sectors is also important. We also learned from COVID that digitalization and is also important, and other points like socialization, self-hygiene, and the importance of emergency fund. These points were touched upon, and we have come to a consensus that we have learned so many things from our discussion. So there our discussion ends.
Okay, Sudeep Vedya.
Okay, sir, so I will take the opportunity to conclude the discussion. We have a good discussion, and we have discussed the whole topic on the perspective individual level. And individual level, we have learned about the social distancing, maintaining the hygiene, and cleanness. These things we have learned. And coming for the local level, we have learned how to survive with a limited resource. And government level, we have learned about like the importance of public sector, but they have piloted, like they are providing the oxygen in government hospital, like in public sector का हम लोगों ने ये पता किया. And the organization level, like हम वर्क फ्रॉम होम मिला, जिसकी वजह से हम लोगों ने फैमिली के पास रहना, ज्यादा फैमिली को ज्यादा टाइम दे पाए हम लोग. And then we become self reliant in some of the case, self reliant, and we are also producing like vaccine and supplying to other nation also. So our relation becomes good with the other countries. So yeah, and there's a tourism sector also gets to boost after the COVID scenario. So I think that's all.
Okay, Shanu, can you go ahead?
Okay, friends, I want to conclude the discussion. We have discussed many points, and the most important thing is that COVID has positive impact is that it develops our mentally strong and physically strong if we are ready to face any kind of situation. And at social level, we learn unity and helping each others at different levels. And government also has various policies and help the peoples, and public sector help, and many people help each others. And it also shows the importance of agriculture when people lost their jobs, and it shows about the good international relations that are developed.
Okay, Rohitash.
So, friends, I like to conclude the discussion. In the COVID-19, we have learned many things. At the individual level, we understand the need of better life, a way how we can need to use the masks, and also the work on the mental health, and need to not eat much junk foods. And also we discuss on the society level that how we can ensure the health are good of the, and also help the people in the difficult times. And in the society level, we understand the सोसाइटी में हमें एक्चुअली में लोगों को ज्यादा हेल्प करनी चाहिए और उनसे कांटेक्ट रखना चाहिए जिससे मुश्किल टाइम. इसके अलावा हमने नेशनल लेवल पे बात की कि हम कैसे भारत बायोटेक जैसी कंपनियां ड्यू टू द कोविड कम आउट, एंड also the international relations, and also the environment. We discussed about the environment, that how pollutions are come down, and air pollution, sound pollutions, and these are very reduced. So that's all. Thank you.
Okay, Shreya.
Thank you, sir, for giving this opportunity to conclude. The discussion was very enriching. We got so many points on different fronts. I would like to conclude on 4 fronts. One is learning on the individual level. On the individual level, we learned about building genuine relationships, better lifestyle changes, and better hygiene, innovations to stay connected and help each other. And on the society level, we learned that it has both impacts during the COVID pandemic. that the society was at times helping also with the donations, and on the other hand, because it was a contagious disease, so it had a little limitations also, which also impacted on some level to the some level to the mental health to the people who suffered during the COVID pandemic. On the third front, I would like to say about the organization levels. IOCL and many other organizations, including Indian Railways, has devoted a lot of their time into this. IOCL has also given liquid oxygen, has supplied liquid oxygen. And on the country level, I would like to say that on the country level, India has had a great rise during COVID pandemic as the global relationships improved a lot. Some organizations like Serum Institute and Bharat Biotech reached at a global level, and we also came with self-reliant and Atmanirbhar Bharat. And also on the environment level, we saw that even that if we slowed down and even we are not releasing carbon dioxide, then how much better can the environment be? Like it improved within 3 or 4 months of COVID pandemic. So it shows that whatever we are doing is harming the environment. It's not natural. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so Thao, would you like to conclude? Please unmute yourself, Thao. Yeah. So you heard entire discussion. Would you like to conclude? So you are not audible.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Please be loud and speak.
But actually, I couldn't do the conclusion this time. I'll try to do it next time.
Okay, so you'll try next time, huh? Okay, so let me tell each one of you. Tao is from Vietnam. She's you people did not let her speak, and she was trying to speak, but you people did not allow her to speak.
Sir, actually, we couldn't hear her, sir.
Sorry?
We couldn't hear her speaking.
But
Yeah,
I listened to you guys, so many good points. So
She
I
was
would like to
not
listen.
speaking,
Yeah,
actually.
really sorry. Really sorry.
So I told you, Tao, these Indian students are very aggressive. They will not let you speak. But you know, you keep
No,
participating.
it's a platform where we should like
Yeah.
go and grab the opportunity. No one will come and give.
Yeah. So you need to jump, Tao. Let me tell you, next time when you participate, you need to jump and you need to speak. You need to find out the spot for you. And for a group discussion, you need to be a little aggressive, maybe assertive, and find the spot and try to give your point. And you know what happens is in group discussion, if some candidate does not speak, then a coordinator will give at the end, he will give you the chance to speak, and you should not hesitate that time. You should certainly speak something at the end, because he will say that, okay, this candidate may be having good points, but she is not coming out with. So let's listen to what good points are. And if you have good points with you, then credit goes to you. If he gives you at the end the chance, you should take that particular chance and give your very, very relevant points, whatever you think like. Okay, whatever your learning from the COVID is, you can give those points at the end. He will give you the chance for sure. If he sees that you are not speaking at all, then sometimes the chance is given. Would you like to speak, or should I give the feedback to each one?
Yeah, please, feedbacks.
Okay, so let me tell you, this topic was like learning from the COVID, and the classification which you people did was very accurate classification. So what is the learning at individual level? What is the learning at society level? What is the learning at national level? And I will say you can make it globally also. What is the learning globally, you know, what India has learned and then what other countries have learned. So that particular thing can also be done. Why? Because as we feel that, you know, COVID kind of situation should not arise, because it cripples entire economy of the world. Not only one country, but every country is affected by these kind of pandemics. So that is the global learning we had, and how the trade is affected and how the global economy is affected. And as we know today, the world is a close, village is a very small village, closely connected, economy connected with other countries. So the moment these pandemics come, then the economy of one country is closely connected with others and it gets affected. So what best would have been like the topic given for the discussion today is learning from the COVID. So friends, let's divide this topic into a couple of categories. So what is learning at individual level? What is learning at society level or community level? What is learning at national level or government level? And what is the learning at global level? So when we say individual level, you have given very good points. You said personal hygiene, how to maintain personal hygiene, the values of the families, value of the support system, family support system, and value of very good financial management. That is also we learned. And lifestyle, what kind of good lifestyle person can lead, that also we learned. And how to stay connected with your near and dear ones, and how to manage if someone is lost, some person loss is there, how to manage. So many things were learned. So many people lost their near and dear one during COVID. So that was also one of the learning at individual level. And that we keep on running in the race of life, unmindful of the fact that many things are not in our control. That was also one of the learning at individual level. Now when we say society level, it comes community, society, right? And all these organizations at the society level. So we know that during COVID, when many countries when government could not do much, then there were social groups which came forward. There were non-government organizations which we call those, they came forward, and communities came forward to help each other out. So that was another learning at the level of community, that even if government is missing somewhere, you can support each other. Social norms. So what kind of social norms are to be followed? Social etiquettes are to be followed. There are communities, there are gatherings. So during these 2 years, marriage gatherings or some festival gatherings, so society learned many things, that how to maintain that particular norms. Then community infrastructure is to be created. So you need to have some kind of infrastructure, health infrastructure or something. If some problem comes, this is how it is to be dealt with. Environmental, the value of environment and protection of environment. Also, we could see that during the lockdown, we could see that okay, there is a healing of environment, replenishment of the natural resources. So that kind of thing also we observed. Social support system, yes, at the community level also, that is what we could see how it can work. National level, what we learned at the national level is like, if we talk about India, then we saw that, okay, we need to become self-reliant, because one fine day what can happen is like import export can close, boundaries can close, so there is no connectivity between the nations. And then if you are importing something from other countries, then suddenly that particular import will stop. You will not be in position to import, export, and then at that point you need to have some your own self-reliant system on which you can depend upon. So during this process, the countries and the governments learned many things. How to create where for country like India, where population, we're the second most populated country in the world, 150 crore people population. So do we have that kind of health infrastructure in our nation for these people? That is something which we realize that okay, we have so less health infrastructure. We need to have a proper health infrastructure to take care of the people. Supply chain, how to manage the supply chain properly, that is another thing which we learned. And the need to have our own indigenous industries. We cannot always depend upon other nations to supply us the thing. So our own indigenous infrastructure we need to create. Globally, we learned that okay, the relevance of global organizations like World Health Organizations, the global relevance of these nations, and how these international organizations can play a very conducive role, constructive role in managing the relations between various countries, and how one country can help another country. So instead of fighting against one another, how you can help one another. That is what another thing which we learned. So these are some of the learnings which we had at the level. So couple of miscellaneous things which we learned was new methods to do business, work from home in IT domain. As you know, IT sector boomed. There was a boom in IT sector during this COVID. Why? Because people could reduce their rent. Why? Because IT workforce were working from home. Not only during COVID, but even after COVID, they are working from home. That gives flexibility to the workforce. That gives flexibility to the company, and our cost effective business strategies. We learned the new methods of education. Now you are sitting in different parts of India, and now we have Thao also there. So we are sitting all different places, but we are interacting, and we are getting, learning here. That is also largely these experimentations were done during COVID period also. So new means to learn. Public social infrastructure, the need of that, and then work-life balance. What do we mean by that? Then social life of the people, that is what we learned. Value of health, we realized the value of health. Maybe earlier we were not knowing that. And infrastructure, that health insurance, somebody said, okay, let's invest in health insurance also. That also we learned during this particular thing. So there were so many learnings. Now let me tell you who will pass this group discussion. Lakshmi started this, but starting of Lakshmi was not very good. You could not speak much things in the introduction, though you could snatch the group discussion, but you could not speak much. So Lakshmi, later on you gave very good points. In fact, your point about healthcare infrastructure and gig economy. Gig economy is another very good, group. We will have this topic also, group discussion also. So gig economy is something which, it's a freelancing economy. You do work freelancing. So gig economy is something which is a product, we experimented a lot in this particular time. And after that, Lakshmi has done good, so she will pass. Nikhil will pass. Shreya will pass, and Sudeep will pass. Sudeep spoke in language Hindi, but he could speak something. So if you see, largely the people who are passing this GD are those people who were continuously contributing, continuously speaking, and they were basically adding some valuable points. Like Shreya has given very good points. She talked about relation of India improved with other countries. That is something which we realized during COVID. That was true. I mean, our pharma companies, when they started producing the things, and then we exported those drugs, those vaccinations and all to other countries also, of course. So that improved our relations. We enjoyed small moments in our life which we sometimes miss. We sometimes miss those things in the hurry of our life, but we started enjoying those. Work from home was another good experiment. And value of family, value of spending time with the family, that is something which we learned. So these were good points from Shreya's side. Nikhil gave the points about public infrastructure. He said, okay, ASHA worker, that is community, health workers. So that is also something which we thought of. Social life he talked about. Sudeep also mentioned points here. So these 4 people will pass the GDs, other will not pass the GD. That's all from my side. Anything you want to ask or tell me now?
Sir, I would like to ask one thing.
Yeah.
You have given good enough time for the discussion. Even though it is a well-known topic, we couldn't drag it for that long. We have all the points, all of our points were completed by the time. So if the topic is very unknown, then how we can manage the time?
What happens is, since I'm now a teacher, I'm teaching for the last many years. You give me any topic, I can talk hours on that without stopping. That does not mean I have more ideas. That simply means I have more practice. That simply means if you have more practice, then that problem will not come. Why? Because you will develop a habit of listening to others, taking points from them, and then again taking the direction particular, talking in particular direction. You need to be very attentive. You need to very carefully saying, and then accordingly you need to give your points. So that is something which is very, very important. So to answer your question, actually, you need to be attentive. You need to ask the questions to other. If suppose you find this situation arising, nobody is speaking, then you need to be ready with your question. Okay, friends. Now I believe we all have talked about these points. Now, what is your view on this point, friends? What is your view on the values of family values which we realized during COVID time? So shoot a question, and maybe others will try to answer that particular question. So be ready with that particular question. So just to pull the discussion in particular direction.
Okay, sir.
Sir, they say we can think like COVID as a bio warfare. Like someone has attacked through biotechnology. And we have how we will perform when such kind of thing happen. We can think like China has done this on purpose, and can we say that point in here, learning from COVID?
So the point is whether Chinese lab, Wuhan lab was involved in it or not, this is not proved actually. So without any kind of proof, you cannot, I think, speak these things in the discussion, because this was not proved. But the topic is something different, learning from COVID. So where you want to put that particular point, even if that was, man-made virus, even if it was, then where you will put that particular point in this particular discussion?
Sir, suppose there is a war, bio warfare going on,
Okay.
and army will see like how we will perform during this bio warfare. Like it's not that like someone is getting shot or what, like, but but our citizens are dying now. So
Yes, so
how we will perform?
globally, where you can put is at global level, there are global organization like World Health Organization, I told you. So yes, there's another learning like organization, global organization like World Health Organization. These organizations need to be more, alert next time, and these need to be more precise in the interpretation of the things, and they need to be more alert that these things do not arise next time again. So that is the learning which obviously these guys must be having those learnings. And national governments also, there were some countries which closed them totally, and they could protect the people, right? They very swiftly they closed the countries, and they protected those kind of things. And then there were countries like America, they did not close them. They said that no, this community herd immunity is to be developed, so let people suffer from it, and later on this you are only postponing these things. So there were countries, different reactions of the countries. Obviously learning at national level and learning at a global level will be there if this particular thing is there. Yes.
Sir, I have two questions. One question is that in this I face every time that in the starting everybody speaks and it's very crowded, and I always try to speak something, but because there is no space, so I lay back. So should I do it, or should I also be?
But I am of the opinion, Shreya, you spoke the maximum in this GD. That is what I can tell you, because you gave the maximum points. So what happens in the beginning, everybody tends to run. In the beginning, there is a chaotic situation. Everybody tends to run. But in the middle, people finish all their points are over. In the middle, it is best for you to enter, because you will get the lull period. Let them speak. If somebody wants to run, let them run. But keep your good points in your mind. And when the lull period comes, then you enter it and you give your points to others. Okay. So I don't think you will get very good marks in this. So I don't think that problem was there, though everybody is trying to speak. GD is always about that. It will look like everybody is speaking, but if you are sitting with some points, you can always enter, you can always contribute. The problem is never there. But again, it's a practice. It's a practice. Like Tao has not said any single word also during entire GD. No, with the practice, maybe she will start speaking with practice. So that is how it goes. With practice only you get to know the things.
Okay.
सर एक्चुअली ये मैं पूछना था कि जैसे मैंने 4-5 पॉइंट रखे, तो सर उनको मतलब वो नोटिस हुए या नहीं हुए, मतलब ऐसे नोटिस करने में प्रॉब्लम?
नोटिस होते हैं वो रोहिताश, नोटिस होते हैं, लेकिन अगर कोई वर्थ नोटिसिंग पॉइंट नहीं है तो तुम्हें क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा उसका।
जैसे सर मैंने एक एनवायरनमेंट पे पॉइंट दिया था और एक बेटर लाइफ हुई थी स्टार्टिंग में।
बेटर लाइफ के ऊपर आपसे पहले लोग बाकी भी पॉइंट्स दे चुके थे, तो अगर आपने वही पॉइंट या उससे अच्छा पॉइंट नहीं दिया है तो उसका क्रेडिट नहीं मिलता आपको।
नहीं सर, एनवायरनमेंट पे तो सबसे पहले मैंने ही दिया था, पर
तो नोटिस
सर किसी और का नोटिस हो गया।
100% नोटिस होता है, क्योंकि वहां पे एक नहीं बैठा होता ना, वहां 3-4 लोग बैठे होते हैं। यहाँ पे मैं अकेले ही बैठा हूँ, तो मे भी मेरे से मिस हो जाए, लेकिन वहां नहीं होता। डोंट थिंक दैट वे।
ओके सर,
पक्का ऑब्जर्व होगा वो।
Sir, I have one more question also. In the middle of the discussion, I have stopped people saying ki, I think it is that point is not that way. It's actually the opposite way. When Shreya said that there is no empathy among people during some deaths and all, people didn't come, I told no, it is not like that. There are other things where people helped financially. So is it a correct way to tell an opinion about the point put by the other person?
Yeah, there is no, see, group discussion mein there is no trouble if you tell somebody that, see, I don't agree with you, you are telling wrong. There is no trouble in that. You can say that in GD. In group task, you cannot say that. In group task, the way has to be different. Okay, that Shreya, you have said this. In my opinion, let's take it this way. What do you say? So you have to bring her on board. You have to develop a consensus. But that is not required in GD. You can very boldly say, you are wrong and this is not to be done. That is not a problem. So I think it is okay, Lakshmi, no issue.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Actually, I'm looking for marketing managers, or I'm looking for managers, those who can push through their points, those who can convince others. That is what is required. So you will obviously give your points. So more the logic in your points, more assertiveness in your point, more clarity in your point, straightforwardness in your point, that is better. So that is how you have to do it. And then, Shanu, you should speak. Aman also has contributed. I think Shanu has not spoken, and Thao has not spoken. These two candidates have not spoken. The rest, everybody has contributed. Fine. So we ended up the session here. So I'll catch you once again, and keep learning on the panel. There are so many things kept for you. Keep learning there, and these are the very relevant points for discussion. And keep jot down the points, whatever we discussed today, write in your copy and note down the points. Okay, this is how we have to do it. So that next time, if this discussion is done, then we are in position to participate, right? Okay, thank you, and see you once again. Thank you.
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I had some personal doubts. Can I call you after this?
Yes, please call. Thank you.
Thank you.